Hello there, and welcome back to War Thunder. Yes, this is RRB, who would have thought? And this is the Italian 3.7 battle rating tech tree attacker, the SM.91. Beautiful plane, looks very familiar, looks like a P-38 or more like the German rather rare premium medium bomber that is the Focke-Wulf 189 A1 UHU. On the other hand, the armament is quite a little bit different because it has 6 central mounted 20mm MG151 with overall 1800 rounds. Let's demonstrate this here with this rather voluntarily allied P63A. 20mm German mine shells in this patch, they are just brutal, they take no prisoners. Now, it is more like a heavy fighter rather than an attacker. Yes, technically it has a bomb load of up to 6 100kg bombs, but you know they are mounted very far apart on the wing, so a very precise drop isn't that possible. You're spreading more a bit like the area. I have seen in Tank RP quite a few people trying to carpet bomb the enemy. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Aside from those 20mm, well, the plane has no armament except the 20mm back turret, and that is also pretty lethal, as we'll see later on. Again, German 20mm mine shells, reasonable firing arcs, and that is just great for dealing with some people that try to bounce you if you manage to connect it, because you know, stock or not, it is very imprecise because this is a 20mm. God, I love American teams. They just insist of those head-on engagements, and I happily take them. Now, in a normal fighter that has in any way, shape or form an advantage, don't go into the head-on. But this is a heavy fighter that probably would lose a energy fight or a turning engagement, especially since the roll rate is quite hampered. So it profits from allied team members that insist on the head-on, that insist on the throwing away their advantages and not bother to climb, and you can easily target anything that is a bomber, even at higher battle ratings. The massive firepower delivers you with ease, even stock, good results. Here, 4 kills, nearly 60,000 silver lines and 5,700 modification research points, first in place. That is not an unusual result. The next battle here is this one, and it is self-explanatory. So what do you think about this plane? Well, first of all, I thought, isn't it a little bit overkill to have 6 20mm on a plane at battle rating 3.7? But then I remember, well, firepower is obviously not the only decisive factor. You need to get it on target as well. And this plane profits from an air spawn. Although it is not all too impressive, it is an attacker air spawn, and it doesn't have the highest climb rate. But if you use it right, well, you don't have to start from the airfield. It is definitely an advantage. So I would recommend, because you spawn quite a bit ahead of your team, or that is even on the airfield, to turn around and climb towards your team. That is very beneficial, trust me, because this plane performs best within the German Furball, or the German Wolfpack, if you will, or the Axis Wolfpack. And you have always some volunteers that go head on, and you can mostly deal better with them. Although you should be careful, because also this can happen, that sometimes the shells don't connect or the enemy flies right through your shots. And here I'm doomed, and now BF109 comes in, clearly misses me, but the game simply registers him as a crash. Now I want to show you this scene, because when I leave the game, clearly not having spent 8 minutes in the game, I normally would expect to get a crew log, but as you can see, I don't. So that is great. So let's go on now with the next battle. And it is always beneficial to play it as I say, to not take bombs, to use the air spawn, to then turn around and climb with your team, and then probably stay in second line. Take always the people that come from a head-on, or that then are crippled. Be very opportunistic at first. Now here I want to show this. I had no chance to escape this P51D. escape. At least I escape his 50 cals in the first turn, and then you can see this plane's performance. It's not the greatest. I'm not quite sure. I think this plane then was stock, and this was one of the first, if not the first battle that I played. And I didn't remember this rear gunner, despite having seen it. Then the auto gunner remembers me. I overtake your control. There you can see the limit firing arcs, although being mostly usable. And 120mm that connects is all that it takes. Great stuff right there. So the 20mm rear gunner is usable. Again, decent firing arcs, but not like crazy firing arcs. In order to discourage some followers or just somebody that tries to get an easy shot on you coming out of the clouds, out climbing you late game, such a 20mm turret is always great. Despite it doesn't really matter if it would be Russian, British, American, or in this case German, Italian, or Japanese or French even. Doesn't matter. 20mm are 20mm. They are always terrifying as turrets. So here the enemy wonders what he just encountered, and I'm reminding him that this is now Italian. So I think one of the factors that we have to talk about is obviously the firepower for this battle rating. Is it overkill? Yeah, sure, it's overkill. But there are many planes that have this great firepower. On the other hand, I personally see it as an unwritten War Thunder law that if you can't kill anything with 220mm, then more 20mm won't help you. Well, that's discussable, but personally I see it like this. But then on the other hand, 620mm are very good for especially the stock grind, because those 20mm, the German MG151s in particular, have many advantages when they are stock. First of all, they are still effective if they hit. Then they really don't overheat as drastic as, for example, the American or in particular the British Hispanos. So you have in this respect quite a few advantages, and since you have 6 of them centrally mounted, the overall spread is a little bit like a RNG roll, but since you roll 6 times, you spew out so many shells that even in a head-on, when you have stock guns, you still get enough kills to overcome the stock grind. And since this is rather low battle rating, this is beneficial. So the stock grind is one of the easiest that you can imagine, especially in conjunction with the air spawn. Overall, the plane's performance is not incredible, but it's not bad. So it climbs okayish, except if it is stock. It doesn't have the greatest energy retention, but it can reach very high speeds. It has then also an air brake, but it doesn't really work all that well, but it's better than nothing. Now, what about the role as an attacker? You would expect, well, some anti-tank guns or some bombs, rockets, and indeed, this plane has up to 6 100kg bombs, but they, you cannot single drop them. You always have to double drop them, and they are very much mounted on the outside of the wing. So to get a precise bomb in, it's not so good, but for a single, more like carpet bomb, if you're an inexperienced bomber, that might help. And they work more or less like 250kg bombs, although even that doesn't say that much. Now, one thing that I really have to stress out here is the team performance. I baited here this Spitfire. He just thought that he would get easy guns on me, but this plane actually can take a few hits here and there, although it doesn't really benefit its performance, of course, and then somebody else of a German team goes in and takes the easy shot. So I think the performance, I would say that it is a very situational plane, but when it comes to, relying on firepower, I think there is no better plane in the game. But to get the guns on target and to not just throw away your height because you have a hard time getting it back, is one of the dirty little secrets that is called, making use of your experience. So always stay in second line, don't really force the engagement, be very opportunistic, and just try to stick with your team. And that then offers you enough opportunities if you manage to see them. So going into head-ons, then turning, then the plane's performance is alright, because this Spitfire Mark I could easily defeat me. The problem for him is obviously that he has some 2 other German planes to worry about, and this then allows me to get guns on target and to hopefully finish him off. Come on, there you can see how long it takes to get the gun on targets. I'm a terrible shot, arguably, but nevertheless I get here this kill. And then there is also this Corsair. Now watch him. He has all the advantages in the world. Speed, altitude, performance, 50 cals. And then he does this strange maneuver. I make here this stupid stall out, but he still goes into the head-on. And he doesn't really hit me that hard compared to how hard I hit him. So that was then, I guess, a gifted kill. I should have died there. He just should have gone up, baited me a little bit, turn around, and self-baited me, and then just jump on me. And that would have not been that much, except for the 20mm gunner. Although, up until the point that he goes into the firing arcs, it's debatable. A nice result. There you can see it was also more or less a stock match, or halfway upgraded, arguably. And I tried to get the fuselage, the airframe, and the cover, and the wings repaired before I get the engine performance, except for the coolant, because the radiator is very important. This is an Italian plane. It very much overheats, although it is not as tragic as with some other Italian planes. So it is more or less controllable, especially if you use, when it is necessary, manual engine control. But the difference between, for example, Norway and Sicily, because the first one is a rather cold map, the other one is a rather hot map, you really feel the difference. So now this is the last scene, and it shows then how difficult it really is to get a shot in on a maneuvering enemy, and also how long it can take it if you don't get the full volley into an enemy. I'm talking here obviously about the Spitfire Mark IX, and there are obviously great performance aircrafts. So let's see how it goes, and if he even notices me. So now he goes down, I try to snipe him, and I get a critical hit into him, and parts fall off. So is he doomed? Well, not quite. There you can see he makes the easy evasive action, and that is just simply rolling, changing his course, and it takes a while to correct here with this plane, and especially in negative turns, which he can perform a little bit with this plane. Actually, the direct injectors are not the problem, but rather the fuel pumps. And so you just lose engine performance in negative Gs. So this is not like a BF-109 or Focke-Wulf. And there we can see how the plane rolls at higher speeds. It's not so difficult to reach 800 kilometers in a dive, and again your air brakes are there, although not the greatest efficiency, but to connect at higher speeds those MG151s has always been tricky. Now he goes up, and I still cannot connect the shots. He just simply rolls out of the way. And if he would be completely undamaged, obviously by now, if he would be a competent player, he would have already killed me 3 times over. But eventually I just might get guns on target. Come on. And nope. The fine-tuning of this plane, obviously at lower speeds and very high speeds, the rudders lock up. It's the typical German Axis, well, plague, I guess. And now he opened himself a window up, or I gave him the opportunity to bail here with this also stall turning. That just was for him not getting guns on him. And now he tries to run. But in a dive, the plane's performance is not all that shabby, and we actually can keep up with him, and we can have enough ammunition so that we can try to snipe him and put some pressure on him. But there you can see how the rolling is at like 500 kilometers per hour. We get another critical hit in, and now half his wing seems to be gone. But yeah, again a spark, and then another damaging hit, and he just flies on fine. But then he tries to do an evasive action, another hit, and then with a negative G roll he drives himself into the ground. I noticed then a Spitfire behind me, and this is funny because 120mm is all that it takes to defeat him. I'm on fire, but as we will see in just a moment, I will survive the game. So that's it for me today. I hope you enjoyed this, I guess, first impressions on this wonderful Italian plane that has a lot of firepower, and if you know how to use it, you get good results. So thanks for watching, thanks for listening. I hope you give this video a like, give it a subscribe if you want to see more, and we'll see each other on the waves, on the battlefields, and in the skies of War Thunder.